lost their job in the pandemic, working and middle-class Americans. At the same time, roughly 650 billionaires in America saw their net worth increase by more than $1 trillion in the same exact period.
The president pushing a $4 trillion package that would put Americans back to work, he says, building roads and bridges while at the same time providing universal pre-K, paid family leave, and more money for education. ABC's Karen Travers.
This was really the call for now Congress to take action, to take his ideas and run with it. The speech, of course, comes on the eve of his 100th day in office, so it's a part victory lap for him. He really talked a lot about what he says he's delivered so far, and so much of that is focused on the pandemic, bringing COVID rates down, delivering relief funds to Americans in need, and this immense effort to get Americans vaccinated. But he also looked ahead at what the next 100 days could look like and the next 3.5 years could look like.
Republican Tim Scott from South Carolina delivered the Republican rebuttal.
Our best future will not come from Washington schemes or socialist dreams. It will come from you, the American people.
The president leaves today to sell his ideas. First stop, the state of Georgia. More protests in Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
No justice! No peace!
After a judge ruled against the release of full body cam video that shows local sheriff's deputies involved in the shooting death of Andrew Brown Jr. Brown's family says it only saw a snippet of what happened. Those who live near former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani as his apartment was being searched by federal prosecutors yesterday.
There were police just leaving the building and then just walking around the block.
The Southern District of New York investigating Giuliani's ties to Ukraine and to former Soviet associates. Police officers confiscating many of his electronics during the search. You're listening to ABC News.
I'm Joel Clark, a SelectQuote agent, with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and he can't take it with him. Well, I went to work and found Ray, who's 40 and takes medication to control his high blood pressure, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. That's way more coverage for a lot less than what he was paying. If SelectQuote didn't shop for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote and to find out how much you can save, call 1-800-206-9977. That's 1-800-206-9977. 1-800-206-9977. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
A federal grand jury in Michigan is adding new charges in last year's plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. 3 defendants are now charged with conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction, and 2 are facing new federal firearms charges. A New York man who posted a video 2 days after the Capitol Hill riots calling on fellow Trump supporters to kill Democratic lawmakers has been found guilty of making death threats. Brendan Hunt faces a sentence of up to 10 years behind bars. Another state is now ending the religious exemption for childhood vaccines. ABC's Chuck Sievertson.
Connecticut will no longer allow a religious exemption for child immunization requirements for schools, colleges, and daycare facilities, the 6th state to do so. It takes effect with the 2022-23 school year. Governor Ned Lamont signed the bill Wednesday. Current kindergarten and above are grandfathered in. More than 2,000 opponents rallied outside the state capitol building, arguing the legislation unfairly infringes on their religious liberties and parental rights. 2 groups, We the Patriots USA Inc. and the Connecticut Freedom Alliance, say they plan to file lawsuits seeking to overturn the new law. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Another big milestone for the Chinese space program launched today on top of a rocket, the first part of what will become China's first permanent space station. China is planning another 11 launches between now and the end of next year to complete and man the station. This is ABC News.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, Navage.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
You know, folks are saying once you've used a Massey Ferguson, you won't ever want another tractor. They're tough, versatile, and dependable. And now with the change of season special at NC Tractor and Farm Supply, you'll be wise to get your special deal. Our tractors have been running in families for generations. Ask about the Phil Sheehan special going on right now. NC Tractor, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. Call 288-0395.
Good morning and happy Thursday. We're seeing a few small showers around the area this morning. We'll be drier midday and through the afternoon with a partly cloudy sky. Highs today in the upper 80s and near 90. We'll see a slight chance of showers this evening and especially overnight tonight. We start in the low to mid 60s Friday morning. Friday afternoon, the clouds will clear. It'll be less humid and beautiful. Highs Friday in the upper 70s and near 80. We'll also see a lesser humid weekend ahead. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Well, we said hang on, the weather's going to get nice. Well, it sure is nice right now and throughout the rest of the weekend, as a matter of fact. We're getting up to about 84 for our daytime high. We'll have some wind gusts, about 23 miles per hour today. Maybe a few showers cropping up tonight, overnight. About 30% chance. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday all looks good. Mostly sunny with some warm temperatures. It's going to be a nice weekend. 81 for the temperature expectation high on Sunday. Again, right now, 64 degrees. And good morning. Welcome to the second hour of 3 of the morning wake-up call hours. We're glad you've hung around with us or just waking up. Shake yourself awake. Get 2 or 3 push-ups there from the side of the bed. And this will be a good day for you. Now I have these death announcements. Donald Wilson Airwood Sr., age 78 of Shingle Hollow, died Tuesday at Hospice House of the Carolina Foothills. They're receiving friends today. The funeral will be at Second Baptist of Rutherfordton at 2 o'clock today, and burial will be at Shingle Hollow Holiness Church Cemetery. Mike Mahan's funeral home and cremation service in charge of the arrangements for Donald Wilson Airwood Sr. Jerry Kimbrell Henson, age 78 of Harris Holly Springs Road, Rutherfordton, died Friday, April 23rd. The funeral service will be held 11 o'clock Saturday, May 1st, in the Holly Springs Baptist Church with Reverend Scott Mooneyham and Reverend James Henson officiating. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 o'clock Friday at the Paget and King Mortuary. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements. An online guest registry available at pagetking.com for Jerry Kimbrell Henson. Lee Ivy Twitty services passed away Wednesday, April 21st. And services will be private. In Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Service is serving the family of Lee Ivy Twitty. Roy Blanchard, 56, of Forest City, died Wednesday, April 28th. Those arrangements incomplete at this time and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service. Again, that's Roy Blanchard of Forest City. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For complete information on these and others, as they become available to us, be sure to tune in this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on WCAB in Rutherfordton. Well, the Braves are on a roll. Let's don't say that too loud, break that chain, but they have won 3 in a row now with the Cubs. Last night they shut them out again 10-0, and 10-0 last night, 5-0 on Tuesday. And they beat them 8-7 on Monday, and they will play the Cubs again tonight. This is the 4th of the 4-game stretch, and let's see if they can pull out a full win for them tonight. Cheer them on. And we'll join that pregame following News 13 at 6 this evening, and then we'll get into the first pitch. They will be with the Braves. They don't have any days off for this weekend. On Friday, they'll take on Toronto Blue Jays. Then on Saturday, the Blue Jays again, and the Blue Jays again on Sunday. So we'll follow them all the way through the season. Hopefully, it'll be a good one. We still have Brave schedules if you'd like to have some of those. Stop by and pick that up. You can share with your friends. We have plenty, so make sure you pick those up. Still sign up for the Rutherfordton Lions Club 17th Annual Golf Tournament and also the Chamber of Commerce Golf Tournament coming right up. Check with them for more information.
Some of you will remember what happened in 2013 when Los Angeles educators decided to hand out taxpayer-funded iPads, supposedly to help low-income students. The iPad program cost over $1 billion, and guess what happened next? Large numbers of iPads soon went missing or were reported stolen. Teachers were never properly trained on how to use them. Many didn't see the need for them. Internet access in the schools was spotty. The iPad for Poor Kids program ended up as a total disaster. Even the Los Angeles Times called it ill-conceived and half-baked. Well, now New York State is about to embark on a new program. They're going to give free tablets to all of their inmates in prison. Supposedly, these tablets will not be able to connect to the internet all the time. There will be controlled access so that prison inmates can email loved ones to help them stay in touch. And they'll be allowed to purchase ebooks, videos, and other entertainment. Yes. Now, anybody with a brain can predict where this is going. Before it happens, you put this kind of technology in the hands of criminals in prisons already overrun by gangs and all sorts of deadly miscreants, it's not going to end well. We haven't even talked about pornography yet. But when liberals fail at something, folks, they never learn the lesson. They double down and they fail up and keep failing up until they get to the top of the failure ladder.
Paid for by government.com.
Have you heard? A recent stash of 1884 Morgan silver dollar coins has been found. These gorgeous 1884 O silver dollar coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck. Only a limited quantity of these Morgan silver dollar coins are available. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone interested in silver coins. Just call government at 1-800-937-4707 and you are guaranteed a mint condition 1884 O Morgan silver dollar featuring the iconic O mint mark of the New Orleans Mint. But with limited quantity, you must call now. These 1884 O silver coins are still in uncirculated condition. That is 137 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-937-4707. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $25 value free with every order. Call 1-800-937-4707 now to secure your 1884 O Morgan silver dollars before they sell out. That's 1-800-937-4707.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
100.9 FM. Walking down memory lane with classic oldies.
Your Atlanta Braves are charging into the 2021 season with big expectations, so you won't want to miss a single minute of Braves baseball.
Swung on and belted to deep right in the chop house home run. Grady threw some big-time top hand on that one.
Tonight, it's the final game of the Braves homestand as Ronald Acuna Jr. and your Atlanta Braves take on the NL Central Chicago Cubs. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Wouldn't it be nice to get medical attention and not have to leave your home? Now you can, thanks to Remote MD. Remote MD is pleased to announce they have initiated a telemedicine program for residents in North Carolina. The telemedicine program is available to all residents in North Carolina, including Rutherford and Polk counties. It is designed to treat common medical illnesses right from your home. Now, isn't that great? No appointment is necessary, no waiting for days to see someone. This is a wonderful opportunity for people who are struggling financially or have a complicated insurance plan. But your health is important to you, and you want attention now. There are no copays or deductible, and unlimited usage programs start at just $59.99 a month. Learn more about this program. Contact Remote MD today at www.remotemd.net. Again, that's www.remotemd.net.
Denmark at the age of 29, Peter Lassen arrived in the United States. Wandering west, 19 years later, he ended up in California. Lassen had visions of greatness. The Mexican government gave him a land grant of 26,000 acres in the Sacramento Valley. He built buildings and dwellings, established a town named Benton, and invited people to join him. Then along came the California Gold Strike in 1849, and everyone but Lassen abandoned the area to seek their fortune. Disenchanted, he went up to Shasta, California, and met a man named Isaac Roop. Roop also liked the idea of being the leader of a country, so in 1856, Lassen and Roop settled on the California-Utah border and claimed 23,000 square miles of land they named Nautaqua. It comprised about a third of present-day Nevada. Within a year, Lassen and Roop abandoned Nautaqua for their new territory called Sierra Nevada. This time, Roop became the territorial governor. Within a year, the burdens of starting a country got to be heavy, so Peter Lassen decided to go prospecting along the California-Oregon border, where, incidentally, on April 26, 1859, he was killed by Indians. The United States never had to deal with Sierra Nevada because it disappeared in 1861 when Nevada became a territory. Because of a short attention span, Peter Lassen never established his own country. But his name remains today in Northern California with Mount Lassen, Lassen Volcanic National Park, and Lassen County, all named after him. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Now it's 7:16 on this Thursday morning. Let's head to the phones and find out who we can talk to at Sheriff Chris Francis' office. And I believe Sheriff Chris Francis is on the phone right now. Good morning, Sheriff. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jim. I hope you are.
Just want to call and let you know your car warranty is running out. If you want to click on number 2, we'll just. You ever get many of those? You get many of those calls?
I get those calls all the time. I just hang up on those, Jim. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, so do I, but they just keep on calling.
Yeah, they do. There's not a whole lot you can do about that unless you just don't answer the phone calls you don't recognize.
That's right. What's on the docket today, Cheryl?
Jim, the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 130 calls for service. There have been 13 arrests processed at County Jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 142. Among those arrested, Brandy Brianne Laughlin, 22-year-old female of Mooresboro, charged with 2 counts of failure to appear, received a $2,000 secure bond. Christopher Scott Hull, 48-year-old male of Maiden, North Carolina, was charged with failure to appear and failure to comply, received a $1,000 cash bond. Brian Keith Cole, 33-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with violation of a domestic violence order and a probation violation. He received a $2,500 secure bond for the probation violation and will see a district court judge for the violation of a domestic violence order. Then we had Martin Deshawn Carson, 28-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear and received a $2,500 bond. Curtis Jeffrey Worley, 26-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $5,000 secure bond. Becky Rena Bright, 39-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Among our incidents, we had a larceny or lost, stolen, looks like independent dealer tag from Race Path Church Road there in Ellenboro. It was independent dealer 099866. Again, independent dealer 099866. It's valued at $30. We had a larceny in a separate instance off of Marshall Lane in Rutherford. It was a 1997 Chevrolet Silverado Hunter Green, displaying a tag of CTB 475. It's valued at $3,000. Inside of it had Cobalt sawhorse. Also had a DeWalt drill with bits and a sawzall. Also, looks like there was a self-inflicted gunshot wound there off of Poors Ford Road. Same occurred at looks like in the parking lot of a church. The young man was flown to Spartanburg and the detectives have sent me word that after surgery he appears to be in stable condition. So be praying for that young man this morning. Jim, also just wanted to mention what's going on in Watauga County if you have 1 minute.
Sure, please do.
My last update last night at 10 o'clock from law enforcement on the scene stated that at 9:44 a.m., two deputies of the Watauga County Sheriff's Office responded to Hardeman Circle there in Boone. The deputies were going to do a welfare check because an employer could not get in touch with his employee. He did not show up for work, which was unlike him, and would not answer calls. Deputies went in to check on after noticing that all the registered vehicles of the owners were at the residence, went in and received fire from an unknown individual inside. One of the deputies was flown to Johnson City, Tennessee, where he later passed. The other deputy, it is believed that he received gunshot wounds and has not been able to get out of the residence, so he is still on the scene. That was as of 10 o'clock last night. I've not seen any updates this morning, but please keep Sheriff Lynn Hageman in your prayers as well. That is a very tragic situation. I had an opportunity to speak to him and his chief deputy at length over the weekend at a conference that I was at. I co-chair legislative board with Sheriff Hageman. He's an amazing man. He is truly a good man. Both parties in that county appreciate him, and I can't get my mind off of him, those deputies, and the deputies' families.
I appreciate you bringing that up. I've been following that story in the past few hours, and I'm glad you gave us an update on that, and we will continue following that story and any updates you can give us. Let me also ask you, Sheriff, the missing person, Lisa Leona Stepp, is she still missing, or has she been found?
I will have to look into that since I had been out of town. I believe that we've located all missing persons, but I will let you know for sure.
Good. Sheriff, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You be safe out there.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
22 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday morning edition of the Call Around News Report.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
And here is Amanda now reporting to us from the Communications Center. Amanda, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Well, in the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 476 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 62 for the emergency medical services, 35 for rescue, 130 calls for the Sheriff's Office, 58 for Forest City, 9 for Lake Lure, 63 for Rutherfordton, and 50 for Spindale. Rutherfordton Fire Department had a motor vehicle crash, a brush fire, and an illegal burn, and Spindale had a structure fire assisted by Rutherfordton, and that is all.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
Ruby Taylor is our next reporter. We'll find her over in the Danieltown SDO Fire District with our morning report. Ruby, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good. What's on the report?
The fire department didn't have any calls, and on my birthday counter, I've got Robert Green and Jordan Melton having birthdays today, and hope they have a nice day. And the signs are in the thighs today and going to the knees tomorrow. And that's all I got, Jim.
All right, Ruby, thanks so much. Have a good one.
You too, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 24 after 7 o'clock here on the programs you'd not heard earlier. The Braves had another good night over the Cubs. They shut them out 10-0 last night.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Our friend Gary Wilson is on the phone from up in the Fairfield Mountains Fire District. Gary, how you doing this morning?
Doing good, Jim. How you doing?
I'm glad it's Thursday.
You're glad it's Thursday, closer to Friday.
That's right. It's going to be a beautiful weekend, too, it looks like.
It looks like it. We had a warm day yesterday. It got up about 86 degrees yesterday. Could feel a little of that humidity in the air yesterday, but nice this morning, about 60 degrees out there this morning. Feels pretty good. Got a good, cool start. And we got some good weather coming in for a few days, so I hope we'll stay that way a while. And we had Bill's Creek a little busy yesterday. They had 3 calls they ran yesterday, 2 medical calls, and then they had a public assist. We had 1 call, and it's for a tree on the power line. That was last night about midnight or a little after midnight. So.
Oh, no.
Early morning start or a late night start or something. So.
Yeah. Nobody should have to get out of bed at midnight and go move a tree.
No, we don't move them when they're on the power line. We just wait till the big fire gets there and keep the road shut down until they get there.
Yeah.
So they got out pretty quickly last night, so we appreciate that. And that's about all we got up here. Everything else going on pretty good, I guess, Jim.
All right, Gary, thanks so much for being there for us, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
All right, see you then.
Thanks. Bye-bye. 26 minutes after 7. If you're looking for a job, listen up. Anyone who is looking for a secure entry-level job in manufacturing in and around Rutherford County, here is great news. AZP is holding a job fair and would love to hire entry-level production operators. This job fair for AZP is May 13th from 3 until 7 at the NC Works Rutherfordton office at 223 Charlotte Road, Rutherfordton. AZP, a reputable company, is offering competitive pay and benefits. Starting wages, $16.25 an hour with available overtime. The ability for internal promotions, health, dental, vision, life insurance, retirement plans, and paid time off. It's an excellent benefit package, and top pay scale could be yours. Find out more when you attend the AZP Job Fair, May 13th from 3 until 7. It will be held at the NC Works office in Rutherfordton at 223 Charlotte Road, Rutherfordton.
Thank you for making WCAB your radio station of choice in the foothills. Now get the best of both worlds. 100.9 FM and 590 AM Rutherfordton.
And let's head up toward the Mount Vernon community now, the Hudlow Fire District. Bob Hodge, how you doing this morning?
We are done just fine on this here Thursday morning. Hope you are.
Yeah, waking up to a beautiful morning is really invigorating. I like to wake up with the sun shining.
Oh, that gets your batteries charged up, don't it?
It does.
But we had a warm day yesterday, and look like we're going to have another one today. That sun's done coming up bright up here this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the fire department, been pretty quiet. We answered 1 medical call, hadn't had any fire or wreck call. And everything's going along good so far this morning. Traffic's moving along good down through here, so
good.
Maybe we'll have a quiet day today.
I hope so. I hope the weekend is going to be nice and quiet too. So maybe you'll get a chance to just sort of prop your feet up and find you a good book to read and enjoy your day.
Yeah, this month's about gone now. Saturday, that's the first day of May, ain't it?
It sure is. We'll have to dance around the maypole on Saturday.
We'll have to dance around the maypole Saturday. don't look like we're going to have too much chance of rain, so maybe it'd be pretty for that.
Yeah, I think so. It's
Do you remember when we used to go to school years ago? That was a big day, May Day. We'd dance around the maypole and have games and all that stuff at school. So
I remember that. Yeah, it was different. The day they don't do much of that, do they?
No, things have sort of changed, ain't it? It's what we used to have there, but
Well, my only granddaughter is getting married on Saturday, so we'll be dancing around the maypole, I guess, at the wedding for her. So she's all excited about that. So we'll be.
Oh, that'll be nice. Well, congratulations there. And so, yeah, you get out there and dance around the maypole for her there. So, well, Jim, you take care and have a good day.
Bob, thank you, and you too, and I will see you tomorrow.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bob Hodge reporting out of the Hudlow Fire District this morning. It's 7:30, and we have 64 degrees, and here's Gilbert Carmona.
This is Gilbert. If you owe the IRS past due taxes, don't call those toll-free national numbers. Local, affordable help is right here in Rutherford County. Stop garnishments, levies, and liens. Call Gilbert Carmona at 828-289-9300. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert, 828-289-9300.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Now, Cherry Mountain, there's our next stop. We'll find Sue Price there with the news. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you feeling this morning?
I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Yes, indeed.
It's a beautiful morning over here. I guess it's going to get warm again today. It sure got hot yesterday.
It sure did.
More like July, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, let's see. I didn't have any calls from the fire department. Don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on my church calendar or my personal calendar. Fairview didn't have anything on their calendar. First Broad's got birthdays for Herbert Hunt, Ted Hunt, and Wanda Tony, so I hope they'll all have a good day on their birthday, and we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day, and they've got a beautiful day for it. In my announcements, the First Broad Baptist Church will be having Memorial Day Sunday. Guest singers will be the Golden Valley Crusaders, and their service starts at 11 a.m., so I'm sure they'll have a good crowd for that. It's good to be looking forward to more getting out now, isn't it?
Yes, it sure is. It's encouraging, and I think folks are finally ready to take advantage of that opportunity.
I know. Well, I hope you'll have a good day today, Jim.
Thanks, Sue. You too, and I will check back in with you tomorrow to see how things are going.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers of Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. They continue to strive hard to keep that honor. Come on in and see for yourself. Take a look at the all-new design 2021 F-150 or reserve an all-new 2021 Bronco coming in the spring. Don't miss out on the automobile you've been wanting at the Sisk Family Ford price. Take your pick while the picking is good on Oak Street in Forest City.
Trying to reach somebody at the Drop-In Family Mart there in Bostic, see what kind of breakfast specials they've got for us this morning. They always seem to have a lot of outstanding ideas for breakfast. and always hot right off the grill. So we're trying to reach them right now. We've got one ring-a-dingy, 2 ring-a-dingies, 14 ring-a-dingies. Nobody there, Todd? Busy over there, but you can always know that when you go by there for breakfast or lunch or pick up any kind of groceries, you'll find them willing, ready, and able to help you. They got great customer service, though. That's what I like about them. Great customer service. If you're unable to get out of your car to come in the shop, and they'll pick it up for you, bring it out to your car for you. Or if you've been in and you get tired and want to go sit down in the car, they'll bring your groceries out to the car for you. Plus, you can find all kinds of specials out in the meat market. I like the impressive way they do that meat market. Fresh cut meat back there. It's not somebody's canned processed stuff. They have fresh meat market there at the Drop-In Family Mart in Boston. And you'll find it very different from a lot of the convenience stores around the area. Then they got personal service, locally owned as well, and a great deli there for breakfast and lunch and snacks and ice cream and those for real shakes, and it's a great place to shop. Bring the family, let them walk up and down the aisle and do some shopping with you. That's Drop-In Family Mart over near Boston. They're busy this morning, unable to come to the phone, but that's okay. We know things are popping good when they're busy at the Drop-In Family Mart. Well, I want to tell you about a place that of course, I've known about Joy's Bridal for a long time, but been knowing Joy for a long time. Dear sweet lady, and she's helping ladies and gentlemen find the perfect clothes for a wedding, for a reception, for a big social event, or just because you want to look nice. They got all kinds of clothing there, plus they have 2 seamstresses and alteration experts on staff. They can help you if it's too long or too short or too wide or too narrow. They can help work that out. You can also rent your tux or buy them. Either way, you can know Joy's Bridal has what you need. They're right there in the Tri-City Mall, open 10 to 6 Monday through Friday and 10 to 4:30 on Saturdays. Go by and rediscover Joy's Bridal there in the mall. And we're moving up the run, moving on up to Shingle Hollow. Here's Tina White with our news from that part of our county. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's going to be another beautiful day up here.
I believe it is.
A warm one again, yeah. 62 degrees this morning when I woke up on my front porch. The fire departments didn't have any calls. For birthdays, Piney Knob has Jill Taylor and Norman Ashley. I hope they have great big days. And nobody on Pleasant Grove celebrating a birthday today, but no announcements that I know of right now. So we're just calm, cool, and quiet up here.
All right. No fire calls or anything. That's good.
Yeah.
Great place to live. You got any empty houses up there we can move to Shingle Hall?
I think there's a few up here, but I think there's that's pretty expensive right now from the way I understand.
Real estate's really moving right now. It sure is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tina. Nothing else going on?
Nothing else. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Tina. So long.
Bye-bye.
Shingle Hollow reporting nice and quiet on the front scene this morning. Let's get over to Union Mills coming up right after we listen to Andrew Tisdale.
Good morning. As we are experiencing the impact of COVID-19, let's stop predicting and let's prepare. Life changes, and then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called the unexpected. So when it comes to your financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm your Edward Jones financial advisor, Andrew Tisdale. A job loss, a change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call me today at 828-287-9197. Our office is located at Food Line Plaza in Rutherford. This is Edward Jones, making sense of investing, and a member of the SIPC. Bye.
Our Union Mills, we're up and coming now. Here's Brenda Kelly to give us the news from up there. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning, Jim. How are you on this tremendous Thursday morning?
I'm feeling mighty fine.
Feeling feeling mighty fine. Got heaven on my mind.
I feel great. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
There you
ma'am, I
go.
do.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it.
Just glad to be alive.
I didn't catch all that the sheriff was talking about something in Tennessee connected to something here.
No, it's up in Boone. Watauga County. Yeah, they've had a standoff up there and a police officer got shot, and one of them still in the house with a man or woman, I guess, doing the shooting, and he has not yet gotten out. So I don't know. They don't know the condition of him just yet, but it's a forensic case there in the city of Boone. They've had police officers from all over the area. Blowing Rock came in to help, and other counties. Don't know the circumstances. They did a welfare check because the man hadn't shown up for work, and he's been very faithful apparently to the job and never stays out. And so they got concerned he wouldn't answer the phone. So they sent the police over there to do a welfare check on him, and that's when somebody inside started shooting and shot a deputy, and he's in the hospital. And so it's still a hot scene right now.
Well, that ain't good, is it?
No, it's not good.
Goodness.
Don't know what's going on.
Oh, well. It's just things happening everywhere. Things that I would have never dreamed of happening when I was growing up.
That's for sure, and not in a town like Boone. Boone's I love Boone. I love the city of Boone.
Oh, yeah, Boone's a beautiful place, yeah.
Blowing Rock is one of my favorite places to go. So stuff like that's not supposed to happen in Boone.
No.
Chicago, you hear about it often in Chicago, New York City, places like that.
Oh, yeah, places like that, or out in California somewhere.
Right.
But not close to home.
That's right.
My little sister, that I say she died 4 years ago. She lived in a group home up at Boone, and she loved it. She just loved it up there. Yeah. She loved the snow and everything. And we tried to get her in one down here in Gastonia where my sister lived that took care of her. No, sorry, buddy, she wouldn't have nothing to do with it. She's going to stay in Boone.
It's a nice
but
place.
we hope everybody's having a good day. I've got 58 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays, any anniversaries. Nobody's celebrating. And when did you say you're having a wedding in your family?
Saturday, my granddaughter's getting married.
Okay.
Only granddaughter
May the
I've got.
1st.
Finally growing up and getting married.
Well, so that'll be May the 1st, won't it?
Right. Rehearsals Friday night, so we can all get excited.
I know it. I had a sister. She died 13 days after Donald did, and her anniversary was May the 1st, and they had been married for 60 years, so maybe your granddaughter will have a long married life.
I hope so. She's marrying a really fine young man from here in the county.
Well, that's good.
So we're happy for her and happy for him, and they seem to be a really good match.
Well, that's good. We hope the best for them.
Thank you.
In ways of announcement, Jacktown Ramblers will be at the Union Mills Learning Center on May the 7th. The music begins at 7 p.m. They have a meal beginning at 6 p.m., and the cost of the meal is $5. And the music is free, but they do have a tip jar for the band. And other than that, I don't have nothing. It's just short, sweet, and quiet.
Been kind of quiet all over the county. I like that.
I do, too.
Well, you keep up the good work up there and get some fun time in for Brenda, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, have a good and catch you later.
All right, bye-bye. The Kelly Report there from Union Mills, and we're going over to Ellenboro here in just a few moments to get a report from Luther Gillian. Let me remind you, though, that if there's no other place you have time to go to a Washburn store. You can find a lot of things for springtime. He's still planting some seeds and run out of seeds. Go get them from there. They have plenty of garden seeds and plenty of tools to work out in the garden, the gloves to put on your hand to keep from getting those calluses. And you'll just find the Washburn store just a friendly place to shop. You got all kinds of kitchen pots and pans, those famous long-enduring pots and pans that you love so well. They got overalls made in the good old US of A. Plenty of cold drinks when you get hot and sweaty today working out in the yard. Prepare yourself for summertime with a visit to Washburn General Store. They'll make you feel welcome as you go in the door. Big smiles will greet you. And if you got the kids and grandkids with you, look up, see the train running around the track up on top there, right near the ceiling. They'll enjoy watching that while you do some shopping. And as always, plenty of candy for you to get for the grandkids. Fresh candy. They don't store it in the back and bring it out when it gets old. They keep it fresh, and they order fresh candy all the time. So it is a fun place. It's a shop for you and your family and you and your grandkids to shop. Why don't you give it a try? And make it your stop to make with guests and friends and family when they come in to visit Rutherford County. Tell them, hey, we got a place you need to visit. Where is that? They might say, well, let me take you over there. They say, okay, let's go. And so y'all pull up to Washburn General Store, and they get, oh, I know, and they'll love it. I think you will, too. Between Bostic and Sunshine on the Bostic Sunshine Highway, right in the heart of downtown Washburn community. Let's head over now to Ellensboro. That's where we'll find Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan. Top of the day to you, sir.
Rest of the day to you, mate. Hope you're having a good day.
I am having a wonderful day. Are you?
Hey, can't be better. I'm sitting here drinking coffee and watching the sun come up.
All right. Can't beat that.
Life is good.
Ain't life good, though?
It is good. Going to have a good time today. But it's quiet there this morning. Not a whole lot happening. Everybody's just getting their biscuit and their sandwich and heading on out somewhere. City Fire Department, they're fairly quiet. They only had one call about 7 o'clock last night. They had a medical call. Rest of the night they were quiet. Quiet this morning. There's nothing going on. But we're going to have something going on down here Saturday. Time Wide Yard Sale Saturday morning, bright and early. So if you don't want to have one in your yard, come on out on Depot Street and have it out there or somewhere wherever you find a spot to set up. And if you're not going to come out and sell, come out and buy. We'll always find something, just what you've been looking for all your life. We'll have it somewhere. If we don't have it, you probably don't need it no way. but just come on down. And nothing else going on down here, Jim. You have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you for your time, and I look forward to it. Have a good one now.
Okay. Take care now.
All right. Bye. It's birthday time and anniversary time for this 29th day of April. April 29th, birthdays and anniversaries can be accepted right now through our phone call, 287-3356. We've cleared the phone lines. You can get through easily by calling Todd right now, 287-3356. Say, hey, Todd, I got a birthday. So he'll write it down. He'll bring it back here to me, and I'll read it out. We'll give you a big shout-out. Just that simple. Birthdays and anniversaries here on the program every day right about this time. So call now, 287-3356.
Good morning. Good morning.
100.9 FM. Walking down memory lane with classic oldies.
Your Atlanta Braves are charging into the 2021 season with big expectations, so you won't want to miss a single minute of Braves baseball.
Swung on and belted to deep right in the chop house home run. Grady threw some big-time top hand on that one.
Tonight, it's the final game of the Braves homestand as Ronald Acuna Jr. and your Atlanta Braves take on the NL Central Chicago Cubs. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Happy birthday. Let's see. Johanna's Stafford, 11 years old, up in Green Hill, having a birthday today. Pastor Rika Petit, pastor of Foursquare Church in Forest City, is having a birthday today, so happy birthday to Pastor Petit. And you can hear their program, by the way, on Sunday mornings right here on WCAB every Sunday morning. Pastor Petit and Foursquare Church right here. And Joanna Stafford of Green Hill, 11 years old. So happy birthday, everybody. Stand by for Keys to Confident Living, and we'll take it out. Here's the top of the hour with ABC News.
Edgar A. Guest wrote, "I used to wonder just why Father never had much time to play. I used to wonder why he'd rather work each minute of the day. Boys are blind to much that's going on about them every day, and I had no way of knowing what became of Father's pay. All I knew was when I needed shoes, I got them on the spot. Everything for which I pleaded, somehow Father always got. I wondered season after season why he never took a rest, and that I might be the reason that I never even guessed. Rest has come, his task is ended, calm is written on his brow. Father's life was big and splendid, and I understand it now." As the little poem suggests, we oftentimes don't know enough to be thankful. We aren't old enough or mature enough to comprehend what God or others have done for us. One of the important lessons of life is the need to stop and think about things around us. We need to think about the faithful calls from a child in spite of their busy schedules, or the thoughtful gift from a parent who is already burdened with heavy financial responsibilities. Maybe one of the great surprises in heaven will be a revealing of all of the blessings that came to us on earth which we didn't even consider. A good prayer would be that God would open our eyes to see more and more of his wonderful benefits to us. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
WCAB Rutherfordton, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. Now let's go down memory lane with some classic oldies for a few minutes.
I'm Sherry Preston. President Biden telling Congress that his plan for fixing the nation's infrastructure will create millions of jobs if lawmakers are willing to invest in it.
The president telling Congress his Rebuild America plan is bigger than nearly anything this country has seen.
This is the largest jobs plan since World War II.
Republicans saying it's too expensive and they don't want higher taxes footing the bill. President Biden may be able to get a simple Senate majority without Republicans signing on. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
Afterwards, Democrats like former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie weighing in.
He was very clear about who was going to pay and who was not going to pay and who was going to benefit, and that people that succeeded had a responsibility to the rest of us.
The words of this speech sounded like what you would hear from a 15-year-old if you gave him a credit card with no credit limit on it, except the words came out of the mouth of an adult who should know better.
ABC News political director Rick Klein.
I think this is an event that's going to be remembered for a while for the way that this looked. It was certainly a different event than any we've seen in the past, but also for the tone that this president struck. He is looking to cast out these next 100 days and maybe this next 1,000 days in a different way. And I think this speech coming as we begin to see the end of this pandemic and as the president starts to see some early successes, just an absolutely critical moment.
Former Trump lawyer and New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani now the center of a major criminal investigation. Federal agents searching his home and office this week.
According to Giuliani's lawyer, investigators are after information related to his activities in Ukraine in 2019, when he was pushing the country's government to investigate Joe Biden's son, Hunter, the focus of Donald Trump's first impeachment.
ABC News Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl. India facing a devastating surge of new COVID infections, more than 379,000 on Thursday alone, the country running out of hospital beds and oxygen. You're listening to ABC News.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Nasal irrigation gets rid of germs by rinsing the nasal cavity, but neti pots are hard to use and, frankly, kind of gross. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now it's time to start cleaning your nose with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Verizon is reportedly looking to sell some famous internet names. The Wall Street Journal says it's looking for buyers for digital media assets that include Yahoo and AOL. Verizon bought them between 2015 and 2017, paying a total of $9 billion. The deal talked about now could be worth a whole lot less, somewhere about $4 or $5 billion. An emotional debate in the Florida State Senate as Republicans push through a measure that would bar transgender athletes from participating in girls' or women's sports. ABC's Lana Moise is in Miami.
Senator Victor Torres, who has a trans granddaughter, made an impassioned plea on the floor.
I ask you, please kill this. We don't need this. We thought it was dead, but obviously some don't care.
Democrats call the ban unfair and dangerous, while Republicans like Senator Kelly Stargel say it levels the playing field.
We're doing this so that women have the opportunity to participate, to get scholarships, to excel with other women of like strength capabilities.
Lionel Moise, ABC News, Miami.
And cruising could be coming back in a matter of months. Several reports say the CDC has told the cruise industry it can restart operations at American waters in mid-July if several conditions are met. One of the keys, having 95% of cruise passengers and 98% of crew vaccinated. This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Don't miss out on Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If your car could use a spring cleaning, stop by for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new. Like Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $4.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $6 savings. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
When you get a hankering for lunch, remember Jesse James Railroad Express.
They have a menu full of delicious items such as burgers, fresh salads, hot dogs, taco salads, and much, much more. Don't forget the refreshing drinks like milkshakes, Coke floats, or hand-dipped ice cream. They are now serving French fries and onion rings. Hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m., closed Wednesdays and Sundays. For takeout, give them a call at 828-447-4644, located at 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Don't forget, Mondays only, 99-cent hot dogs with mustard, chili, and onions. That's Jesse James of Railroad Express. All aboard!
Hello and happy Thursday. Expect a warmer afternoon today with temperatures in the upper 80s around the area. Some areas may also even get to 90 this afternoon. It'll be quite humid as well, but we stay dry with a partly cloudy sky. A few showers, though, arrive overnight tonight and early Friday morning as we see temperatures starting in the 60s. The showers will move out, though, by Friday early in the morning, and we'll see more sunshine and lesser humid conditions Friday afternoon. Highs in the upper 70s and near 80. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
65 degrees right now in sunny skies here in the foothills. 65 degrees and sunny. I like that kind of weather. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Hey, here's I failed to do this earlier during birthday time. I misplaced my note, but I wanted to get this on. I should have done it earlier. Just now found it. Grady Franklin's birthday is today. He'll be 100 years old today. He was born in the Duncans Creek community and currently resides in Cliffside. The Rutherford County Commissioners declared April 29th as Grady Franklin Day in Rutherford County, and we're celebrating his birthday on behalf of everybody who knows him and those who wish they did. 100 years old today, Grady Franklin's birthday. So we're making this Grady Franklin Day here at WCAB. So if you know the family or know Grady, be sure to contact him and let him know that you heard about him on the radio. And this is Grady Franklin Day as he celebrates birthday number 100. What a milestone for a great, great man. Lives born in Duncans Creek community and currently lives in the Cliffside community. And the commissioners declared even this day, Grady Franklin Day in Rutherford County. So congratulations to Grady.
Celebrate greater at Carolina West Wireless. Greater deals, greater savings, and greater ways to stay connected. Like $350 off the new iPhone 12. Love the device you already own? Bring it in when you switch and save $150. Plus, get 4 lines with unlimited data for just $35 a month per line. All on our powerful nationwide high-speed network. Stop by Carolina West Wireless and celebrate greater today. Carolina West Wireless. Go stay connected. Certain restrictions or conditions may apply. See store for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
Here's an update on the story the sheriff and I were talking about earlier this morning up in Watauga County. Excuse me. That Watauga standoff has ended in an apparent suicide. According to the Morganton News Herald, a 13-hour standoff in Watauga County came to an end. Watauga County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Chris Ward, who was shot when responding to the welfare check Wednesday morning, died after being airlifted to Johnson City Medical Center in Tennessee, according to information from WCSO, sent to News Herald news partner Dave Flaherty with WSOC-TV. Deputy Logan Fox, who is the K-9 deputy, was also shot, and he remained in the home during the standoff. The standoff started after deputies responded to a welfare check at the home. The homeowner and his family had not shown up for work. When deputies arrived, they saw the family's cars all parked outside and entered the home. When they entered, an unknown person started to shoot at them. The names and conditions of civilians involved also is unknown at this point. The standoff drew law enforcement support from all around western North Carolina. Lender told News Herald that it was a working incident command in Boone Wednesday evening. The SBI took over the scene Wednesday night. Lender said when he found out what happened, he called the police chief in Boone and asked if they needed help. They said yes. So Lender, along with Captain Keith Bowman and Lieutenant Nick Edwards of Morganton, all went to the scene to help set up an incident command and get things organized. Lender said it's just a law enforcement agency coming to help another law enforcement agency is all we're doing. Just trying to fit in the best we can to help out, and it's just a really unfortunate situation all around. It's horrible, horrible situation. WCSO said responding agencies, including Appalachian State University's police, the Avery County Sheriff's Office, Beach Mountain Police, Blowing Rock Police, Boone Police, Caldwell County, Henderson County, Hickory, Alcohol Law Enforcement, North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, North Carolina Highway Patrol, Transylvania County, West Jefferson, and the Wilkes County Sheriff's Office all came to help. The shooter periodically fired a gun in the direction of officers. Clarence Wilson, 78, was on the porch of his home in Boone when sheriff's deputies pulled up in front of the house across the street. Gunfire erupted after the deputies arrived. Then they told me to get back in the house and stay, he said. Wilson said he saw deputies pull a man from the house. I don't know if it was a deputy or who it was. He said, I was just worried about keeping myself safe. Wilson said he heard a second barrage of gunfire around noon. Wilson said it's a real quiet neighborhood with many retirees living there. It ain't used to all this. It's not over yet, but apparently it has ended, and the standoff ended in an apparent suicide. They don't know all the story behind all that yet, but they're still investigating, and more will be forthcoming in regard to why, if they know that happened, and how many people were injured and who all was in the house at the time. It's a sad story in one of our western North Carolina towns. Happens all over the country, and we're saddened by any death like that, but we're certainly saddened when it's so close to home. Meanwhile, the Daily Courier is reporting, Richie Starnes reporting that nearly 6 months since Ethan T. Carlton was killed by law enforcement during an attempted arrest, and the case remains an active state investigation. And because of the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation's time-consuming probe, family and friends of Carlton have become restless. They want answers as to why Carlton, 28, was fatally shot December 1st, 2020, when 3 officers were trying to arrest him outside a residence on Edisto Drive in Rutherfordton. Carlton, who was a convicted felon, was armed at the time with a handgun holstered on his hip. Rutherford County Sheriff Chris Francis said a struggle ensued with a suspect threatening the officers. During the confrontation, Sheriff Sergeant Tyler Green shot Carlton in the back. Francis acknowledged that he has not investigated the matter, instead handed the case over to the SBI for an independent probe, which is customary in officer-related shootings. However, the sheriff said he has reviewed the video from the officer's body cam. It's conclusive to me, Francis said. I do feel comfortable in why we had to shoot him. But that continues to investigate that case, and the family is holding vigils. Meanwhile, Scott Carpenter is reporting from the Courier that North Carolina is among the fastest growing states in the United States, according to the recently released U.S. Census data. North Carolina's official population, according to the 2020 census, is 10,439,388, while the United States population is 331,449,281. The official statistics on the individual county populations will not be released until early fall, but officials know that North Carolina's growth is not equal among the counties. Some estimates suggest that 43 of North Carolina's 100 counties may have lost population over the last 10 years. But even so, the areas that are experiencing population growth made North Carolina the 15th fastest growing state. North Carolina grew by 903,905, or 9.5% since 2010. This is the 6th largest increase among all states. Because of that, North Carolina's growth and other states' losses means North Carolina will gain a 14th seat in the United States House of Representatives. 5 other states, we talked about this yesterday, also gain House seats. Texas gains 2. Colorado, Florida, Montana, and Oregon also gains a seat. While exact county numbers are not yet known, local officials are optimistic about Rutherford County's population. So we're doing something right, I guess, in North Carolina. Look at all these people. And we welcome those folks to come into our county from someplace else, and they're leaving their places for some reason. So if you're leaving those places for some reason unhappy, then don't bring those changes here to this area and try to make it into what you just left. I mean, adapt to our state and our cities and our communities. Don't try to make our communities like the one you just left that you're unhappy with. We welcome you with open arms. Or will, when the pandemic's over, we welcome you with a big smile and behind the mask, and welcome you. Meanwhile, if there wasn't anything else to be concerned about with the wasps coming out, the mosquitoes coming out, the coyotes are also coming out this time of year. Coyotes are common in all 100 counties of North Carolina. And generally, they are elusive and avoid people. But the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission reports that coyotes sightings peak in May as they ramp up their activity searching day and night for food to support their newborn pups. Coyotes prefer to build their dens away from human activity, but in North Carolina, they can still mean contact with people. As coyotes wander in search of food, which can include wild fruit, small mammals, and this year's increased number of nutritious cicadas, they can enter residential areas, especially if food is plentiful. Coyotes will take advantage of pet food left outdoors, food scraps, and other nutritious tidbits around the homes. Smaller pets, such as cats and small breed dogs, should always be closely supervised when outdoors, as they can easily be mistaken for natural prey. Now, Phelan Owens, who is an extension biologist for Wildlife Commission, offers these tips to deter coyotes. Remove all outdoor pet food, fallen fruit, food waste, and bird feeders. Keep cats and small dogs on a leash or harness whenever they're outside. Haze coyotes away from homes and businesses. Hazing can be as simple as waving your arms and shouting forcefully until a coyote leaves. Spraying them with a water hose or throwing small rocks in their direction can also alert coyotes they're not welcome in the area. So please be careful with those. 60 minutes after 8 o'clock, the Sheriff's Report coming up here in just a few moments.
For a delicious meal every day, call on Gregory's Original. Choose from their top menu of burgers, subs, grinders, pasta dishes, fresh salads, and so much more. All dishes are prepared fresh daily. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m., Saturday, noon until 9 p.m. Now at Gregory's, try the family-style meals. The dining room is now open, but curbside and takeout is still available. Enjoy lunch or dinner today with your favorite meal from Gregory's. Call 287-2171, located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford. Gregory's Original.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City is taking appointment times for the COVID-19 vaccination. There are two ways to schedule an appointment. First, go to our website at www.smithsdrugsfc.com and click on the COVID-19 vaccination tab. Then fill out the consent form, choose your group, and at that time you'll be able to choose an available appointment time. Second, you can just call our pharmacy to schedule an appointment time and we can help you fill out the consent form over the phone. We also at times do have some vaccines available later in the evening, and these are posted on Facebook when we do. If you have any questions or concern, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
Saving money is easy when you shop at Jay's Discount Grocery. From snack foods to vegetables, fresh fruits to fresh cut meats, paper products, cleaning supplies, dog food, and so much more. You know, you just never know what you'll find at Jay's. So shop and save today. They're located at 671 Oak Street in Forest City, right beside the Hospice Resale Store. You know, when you shop at Jay's, you always walk out with money left over in your pocket.
You know, it's not much worse than walking through a neighborhood and find walking through a neighborhood and hear that kind of noise coming off the radio. I apologize, folks. We've had 5 technicians and an engineer here working on those kind of things, and the company that we have this internet service through just cannot seem to find where these problems are coming from. So I don't know what else yet to do, but those kind of things should never happen. But anyway, I apologize. But anyway, what I was going to say is it's terrible walking through a neighborhood and start smelling somebody's septic tank. If it's yours, it's time to do something about it. I'm happy to share some news with you that if you have a septic tank on your property, you need to call Mid-South Pumping. They're professional pumpers in town, and Mid-South Pumping, owned and operated by John Torvinen. Mid-South Pumping serves local counties such as Rutherford, Polk, Cleveland, McDowell, and Lake Lure, offering a wide variety of services at affordable prices. So get it done before summer really gets here. It really gets bad, if you know what I mean. Mid-South Pumping offers around-the-clock service to ensure your business doesn't become everyone else's. So you can count on Mid-South Pumping. That's Mid-South Pumping for pumping septic tanks, locating services, uncovering septic tank lids, and more. Get that job done before really hot summer weather gets here. You can make that call right now to Mid-South Pumping in Rutherfordton. Here's the phone number, 828-755-6280. 755-6280. That's right here in Rutherfordton. Call them, and they'll be right out to get your septic tank pumped out, and you won't have to worry about people sniffing around when they walk by your place. 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. And let's see, we got Braves baseball this evening. We got the Sheriff's Report coming up here, and let's have that right now. Here's Sheriff Chris Francis.
In the last 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office responded to 130 calls of service. There have been 13 arrests processed at county jail. Currently incarcerated, we have 142. Among those arrested, Brandy Brianne Laughlin, 22-year-old female of Morrisboro, charged with 2 counts of failure to appear, to the $2,000 secure bond. Christopher Scott Hull, 48-year-old male of Maiden, North Carolina, was charged with failure to appear and failure to comply, received a $1,000 cash bond. Brian Keith Cole, 33-year-old male of Forest City, was charged with violation of the domestic violence order and a probation violation. He received a $2,500 secure bond for the probation violation and will see a district court judge for the violation of a domestic violence order. We had Martin Deshawn Carson, 28-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear and received a $2,500 bond. Curtis Jeffrey Worley, 26-year-old male of Farsi, was charged with 2 counts of failure to appear and received a $5,000 secure bond. Becky Rena Bright, 39-year-old female of Rutherford, was charged with failure to appear and received a $500 secure bond. Among our incidents, we had a larceny or lost, stolen, looks like independent dealer tag from Race Path Church Road there in Ellenborough. It was independent dealer 099866. Again, independent dealer 099866. It's valued at $30. We had a larceny in a separate instance off of Marshall Lane in Rutherford. It was a 1997 Chevrolet Silverado Hunter Green, displaying a tag of CTB 475. It's valued at $3,000. Inside of it had Cobalt sawhorse. Also had a DeWalt drill with bits and a sawzall. Also, looks like there was a self-inflicted gunshot wound there off of Poors Ford Road. Same occurred at looks like in the parking lot of a church. The young man was flown to Spartanburg, and the detectives have sent me word that after surgery he appears to be in stable condition. So be praying for that young man this morning. Jim, also just wanted to mention what's going on in Watauga County if you have 1 minute.
Sure, please do.
My last update last night at 10 o'clock from law enforcement on the scene stated that at 9:44 a.m., 2 deputies from the Watauga County Sheriff's Office responded to Hardeman Circle there in Boone. The deputies were going to do a welfare check because an employer could not get in touch with his employee. He did not show up for work, which was unlike him, and would not answer calls. Deputies went in to check on after noticing that all the registered vehicles of the owners were at the residence, went in and received fire from unknown individual inside. One of the deputies was flown to Johnson City, Tennessee, where he later passed. The other deputy, it is believed that he received gunshot wounds and has not been able to get out of the residence, so he is still on the scene. That was as of 10 o'clock last night. I've not seen any updates this morning, but please keep Sheriff Lynn Hageman in your prayers as well. That is a very tragic situation. I had an opportunity to speak to him and his chief deputy at length over the weekend at a conference that I was at. I co-chair legislative board with Sheriff Hageman. He's an amazing man. He is truly a good man. Both parties in that county appreciate him, and I can't keep my mind off of him, those deputies, and the deputies' families.
And there has been an update since that story, when the sheriff gave that story. Watauga standoff has ended in an apparent suicide there in Boone. And a sad note there, but the suicide attempt, we don't know the rest of the story just yet, but that will be forthcoming. Standoff ended in an apparent suicide there in Boone.
WCAB would like to welcome a brand new business to Rutherford County, All Ray Tire Center in Forest City. These guys will be glad to take care of your vehicle needs and concerns. Of course, they carry tires, but they also specialize in oil changes, alignments, suspension, brake service. They also have a pickup and delivery service. When purchasing tires, they ask you to bring in the best prices, and they will beat it. Come by and let them prove it to you. Open Monday through Friday, 8 until 5, Saturdays, 8 until 12. That's All Ray Tire Center, 247 West Main Street in Forest City. Give them a call at 828-229-3246, your newest hometown tire store.
Nothing but positive to me.
Charlotte still 3.5 games back in the Southeast Division after the 76ers crushed Atlanta, while Miami beat the Spurs to move up 1 game behind the Hawks. The Carolina Hurricanes continue to lead the Central Division of the NHL, and the Canes and Panthers both idle yesterday. Florida is in Chicago tonight, and the Canes hosting Detroit. While the Red Wings not a playoff contender, they're the one team that's given Carolina the most problems this season. They've won 4 of the 7 meetings between the two teams, and it makes them the only team to hold a winning record against Carolina this season. Rod Brindamore earlier in April, after a loss to Detroit, was asked, what is it about the Red Wings that seem to give them fits?
Well, they work hard. I mean, they make you earn everything, and I don't know if that's any particularly thing that they're doing. They just kind of beating us to the net and fighting in front of the net. They worked, and we didn't.
Carolina Panthers traded Teddy Bridgewater to the Denver Broncos yesterday for a 6th-round draft pick. Bridgewater went 4-11 as the Panther starter last year. He came available when Carolina traded for former Jets QB Sam Darnold. This is Unseen Sports.
If the power goes out for your business, are you prepared with a backup? Without electricity, security systems go down, refrigerated items spoil, and customers are turned away. In other words, your business loses money. Control your power. Control your business with a Generac automatic standby generator. Alternative Power is North Carolina's Generac generator experts. In fact, all Alternative Power does is provide backup power. Financing options are available. See more at alternativepower.com.
North Carolina's heroes are in trouble. Many of the essential workers we depend on during the pandemic don't have an option to buy affordable health insurance. For them, it's essential that we close the health care gap. Care for Carolina is committed to providing more insurance options and access to health care. Covering the uninsured means lower health insurance premiums for all of us.
Go to care4carolina.com to help our heroes. That's care4carolina.com. Care for Carolina, expanding access, enhancing prosperity.
A multitude of games last night in Major League Baseball, but one that drew much attention was Philadelphia as they beat St. Louis 5-3. The game was not without some drama. St. Louis pitcher Genesis Cabrera hit Bryce Harper with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball in the left cheek. He had to leave the game.
Finished that rookie year with a 270. Oh, man, hit him right in the face. It deflected into his face.
The call courtesy of NBC Sports, who then watched as Cabrera then, on his very next pitch, another fastball, drilled Didi Gregorius.
And he hits Didi Gregorius now, and Didi goes down.
After the game, Cabrera expressed remorse and apologized for hitting Gregorius and especially Harper. He said the game got away from him and it was not intentional. Meanwhile, Gregorius stayed in the game. Harper had to go, but he said he's feeling fine. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Hello and happy Thursday. Expect a warmer afternoon today with temperatures in the upper 80s around the area. Some areas may also even get to 90 this afternoon. It'll be quite humid as well, but we stay dry with a partly cloudy sky. A few showers, though, arrive overnight tonight and early Friday morning as we see temperatures starting in the 60s. The showers will move out, though, by Friday early in the morning, and we'll see more sunshine and lesser humid conditions Friday afternoon. Highs in the upper 70s and near 80. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Zach. We had 67 degrees, currently sunny skies. It's going to be beautiful all day today, all weekend. As a matter of fact, there may be a few showers coming in here on Friday, or rather tonight through the evening, but clearing out of here for tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday looks really nice. My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up a little after 9 o'clock this morning, 9:05. We'll see what so great about America. There is so many things great about America, and we'll talk about that in some detail this morning with Butch right here on the radio. Meanwhile, some of the things that people are watching and listening to and picked out last night from the President's State of the Union. He had a message for transgender Americans Wednesday night as he addressed a joint session of Congress. To all transgender Americans watching at home, especially the young people who are so brave, I want you to know your president has your back. In other words, young people, if you think God made a mistake in making you and you want to correct that mistake, we got you back. That comment came shortly after Biden condemned white supremacist terrorism, which our intelligence agency has determined to be the most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today. Biden promised he would not ignore that threat. He did not mention violence from groups such as Antifa and the threats made from Representatives Waters, folks like that. He didn't mention those kind of threats. Biden thanked the Senate for passing a hate crimes bill aimed at protecting Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. He urged the passage of a Democrat policy reform bill by the first anniversary of George Floyd's death next month. And he once again acknowledged a systematic racism that plagues America and American lives. Look, I also want to thank the United States Senate for voting 94-1 to pass COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act to protect Asian American and Pacific Islanders. You acted decisively. You can see on television the viciousness of the hate crimes we have seen over the past year and far too long. I urge the House to do the same and send the legislation to my desk, which I would gladly, anxiously sign. He also hopes Congress will get to my desk the Equality Act to protect LGBT Americans. To all transgender Americans watching at home, especially the young people who are brave, I want you to know your president has your back. Another thing, let's authorize the Violence Against Women Act, which has been law for 27 years. 27 years ago, he said, I wrote something about that. Doesn't say anything about it. Let's approving. He says, let's authorize the Violence Against Women Act, which I concur with that. But he doesn't say anything about it. I'm supporting the fact that men can play on women's ball teams, shower in women's locker rooms, and swim in women's competitive swimming sports. I'm all for that. Let's give them, but let's protect the Violence Against Women Acts. If so protective of women, why not shut down the fact that men want to play on the women's baseball team or the women's soccer team or the women's tennis team or whatever it is the men want to do, which is surprising to me that men would want to do that, but this is a strange society we live in. But he's talking out of both sides. Let's do this, but over here we're going to do this. Let's do this, but over here we're going to do this. But that's the way he's bragging on those brave transgender Americans who don't understand anatomy. They're apparently not teaching anatomy in school much anymore. And young boys and girls and men and women today just don't understand anatomy, it seems. They also think God made a mistake. Well, here's a case in point. The Biden administration on Tuesday filed an appeal to find a way to force physicians and hospitals to perform potentially harmful gender transition surgery on patients, including children, even if they have religious objections. If you have a religious objection to have a transition surgery or paying for it, he wants to force it. Yeah. He filed an appeal to find a way to force physicians and hospitals to perform potentially harmful gender transition surgeries on patients, including children, even if they have a religious objection. So if you're a doctor in a hospital or a nurse, and you say, no, I don't believe that's the right thing to do, I'm not going to do it, it's against my principles and my Judeo-Christian values to turn a boy into a girl or turn a girl into a boy when it's not even physically the right thing to do, aside from religiously, I'm not going to do it. he's wanting to find a way to force you into doing it. The Daily Caller reports Biden's appeal hinges on a 2016 Obama-era interpretation of a non-discrimination clause of the Affordable Care Act, resulting in a mandate that did not include conscious or religious exemptions. The mandate required doctors and hospitals to provide transgender surgeries upon a mental health professional's referral. As CBN, the Breaking Christian News, reported in January, a federal court in North Dakota struck down a directive known as the Transgender Mandate that was issued under the Obama administration, forcing members of the healthcare community to violate their medical judgment and religious beliefs. Now, Beckett's laws, Luke Goodrich outlined exactly who the plaintiffs are in the case and how they would be affected. The plaintiffs are religious doctors, hospitals, and clinics who joyfully serve all patients regardless of sex or gender identity. They routinely provide top-notch care to transgender patients for everything from cancer to the common cold. They also provide millions of dollars in free and low-cost care to the elderly, the poor, and underserved, care that is jeopardized by the government's attempt to punish them with multi-million-dollar penalties. The legal scholar denounced Biden's appeal, noting the transgender mandate not only threatens religious doctors and hospitals, but it also threatens patients. And there is substantial evidence showing certain gender transition procedures can be deeply harmful. You think they pay attention to that part? No. They want us to wear masks outdoors and stay so many feet apart, but they're ignoring the gender transition procedure that it could be harmful. Goodrich also explained multiple federal courts have reached the same conclusion. Quote, there is no medical consensus that sex reassignment surgery is a necessary or even effective treatment for gender dysphoria. The government's own doctors during the Obama administration agreed, based on a thorough review of the clinical evidence, there is not enough evidence to determine whether gender transition is the best solution. So there you go. Joe Biden may have grown up as a devout Catholic, but it sure seems like he's transitioning into something else. As CBN News reported in March, Biden's position on abortion is also creating quite the divide among his fellow Catholic faithful. His critics say the president is cloaking himself in Catholicism by talking about his faith while not following church's teachings. Many question whether he's going against long-held tenets of the faith in favor of a more progressive approach is being discussed among the Catholic Church. But with the Catholic Church, we'd have enough backbone to call him on the carpet about it? I don't know. But hate speech sure is gearing up out there a lot. Have you noticed? Hate campaign, Hate America campaign is in high gear. I love America, folks, and I think those of you who listen to me on a regular basis know that I love America. In spite of all our scars and blemishes and ugly warts, I love America. The United States is beset now with numerous problems, though none as serious as teaching students and workers why they should hate America. And it is being done behind our backs, supposedly, because they're not blatantly say, okay, come on to this class, we're going to teach you to hate America. No, it's not being done that way. It is an intellectual, dishonest game riddled with distortions and out-and-out lies about American history, as well as tortured interpretation of current events. That's why so many of them want all these monuments torn down, because that's part of history. They don't want history to be taught that way. They want to wipe it away, and then let's tell them what we want them to know. Tell them what we want them to believe. And it's disturbing to note that the left-wing agenda is no longer confined to places like higher education and the media. No, it's been mainstreamed into the corporate world now, collegiate and professional sports, and even beyond that. Some politicians have also embraced the Hate America campaign. There are 3 identifiable stages to this campaign. The baby boomers, who were born after World War II, came of age in the 60s, and a time of unprecedented affluence and domestic strife. The Civil Rights Movement, the war in Vietnam, and the sexual revolution brought chaos and confusion. The 60s and 70s were marked by a movement to hate America though the agenda of the left was caught up in as compared to the stages that followed. Stage 1 flowered in academia and in select urban neighborhoods. College students were taught how racist and sexist our heritage is and how imperialistic our foreign policy is. America, spelled with 3 Ks as it was called, was the land of oppression. It didn't matter that those who promoted this lie were Marxists. It didn't matter. The masters of oppression, it didn't matter. Parts of many urban areas, particularly on the east and west coast, were overtaken by drug-addicted hippies who preached love while throwing Molotov cocktails at the police. Let's love everybody. Let's hold hands and love everybody. But let's throw that Molotov cocktail over. There's a police officer. Well, Stage 2 was born in the 80s. Just as the college campuses gave rise to the first installment of hatred, they were the side of the second wave. Its principal vehicle was multiculturalism. This pedagogical tool was never about teaching students to appreciate diverse culture. Rather, it was used as an ideological weapon to trash Western civilization and its Judeo-Christian values. That's what it was all about. It wasn't to teach us to love those who were different. It taught us to trash Western civilization as we know it and its Judeo-Christian values. That's the purpose of taking down the monuments, the purpose of taking down the 10 Commandments, purpose of not allowing Bibles to be read in school or be taught in school or devotions in the mornings and those kind of things. Multiculturalism is also about fomenting division, segregating various demographic groups, and emphasizing how little we have in common. We see expressions of it today. The class of 2021 coming up, class of 2021 at Columbia University, allows for separate multicultural graduation celebrations. The menu includes events for Native, Asian, Latinx. It's not cheap to have masculine, feminine, so we can't say Latino or Latina. We have to say Latinx, as in Latinos and Latinas. The campuses are alive with critical race theory. Michigan State University, for instance, will hold a conference in May instructing white students to admit their white privilege, even if reared in a foster home. You got to admit that you're white privilege. You're not part of until you admit you're a white privilege. You cannot. At Smith College, all employees were forced to undergo anti-bias training after a black student claimed she was racially profiled. It was later learned that she lied. But by then, they'd all gone through this anti-bias training because she claimed she was racially profiled, and turned out she was lying. Georgetown fired a professor for simply noting that her black law students were not doing well in her classes. She was ridiculed because she made that notice. There is little pushback in the corporations or on college campuses against the Hate America campaign, but there are signs that parents of elementary school students have had enough. In New York City, Megyn Kelly, who you recognize perhaps that name, pulled her 2 children from a pricey Upper West Side school. She was followed by a father who took his daughter out of an expensive Upper East Side school. He made his informed letter public, sharing it with the school's parents. A faculty member at Grace Church School in Greenwich Village went public with his complaints about, the headmaster. He accused him of demonizing white people for being born. That's some of that article information I picked up there was from Bill Donahue, who is president and CEO of the Catholic League for Religious and Civil Rights, which is the nation's largest Catholic civil rights organization. He was awarded his Ph.D. in sociology from the New York University and the author of 8 books. In many articles, he's hit it right on the head. He knows that group out there is pushing the Hate America theme. And we, as Americans, are letting it happen. We're saying, oh, really? Did that really happen? Are we really white supremacists? Do we really? Oh, we need to do away with that. It's there, folks. It's there. It's 8:45, and I'll be back in just a moment.
Have you been financially impacted by COVID-19? Savings on internet access may be available to you. Under the FCC Emergency Broadband Benefit Program, you could save up to $50 per month on your monthly wireless bill. Carolina West Wireless is a proud supporter of this program and is pleased to offer this savings benefit to those who qualify. Visit any Carolina West Wireless retail store or carolinawest.com/EBB for more information. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
WCAB would like to welcome a brand new business to Rutherford County, All Ray Tire Center in Forest City. These guys will be glad to take care of your vehicle needs and concerns. Of course, they carry tires, but they also specialize in oil changes, alignments, suspension, brake service. They also have a pickup and delivery service. When purchasing tires, they ask you to bring in the best prices, and they will beat it. Come by and let them prove it to you. Open Monday through Friday, 8 until 5, Saturdays, 8 until 12. That's All Ray Tire Center, 247 West Main Street in Forest City. Give them a call at 828-229-3246, your newest hometown tire store.
There are plenty of drugstores in Rutherford County, but not all of them offer the same personal customer service that is offered at the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton. Laura Hodge and her team have trusted experience and professional service. You're not just a number to them, you're a friend. Make the Medicine Box of Rutherfordton your hometown drugstore at 200 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 1, 287-7117.
Here is a wonderful opportunity to work at a job and help your neighbors at the same time. Rutherford County Habitat for Humanity is seeking an assistant manager for Restore 269. Applicants should be team-oriented, have excellent customer service, and a friendly and industrious personality. Does that fit you? Some physical labor, including lifting, is required on this job. Retail management experience will be helpful. If you'd like this kind of job, send your resume to RCHFH, Post Office Box 1534, Rutherfordton, 28139. No phone calls, please. Rutherford County Habitat for Humanity is seeking a Restore associate. Excellent customer service skills are a must. Applicants must work well with others and have a friendly and industrious personality. Must be able to lift 75 pounds. Assist customers with merchandise, answer phone, and greet customers. Other duties include loading and unloading Restore donations and assisting with overall store cleanliness. Applications are available at the Habitat Restore at 688 West Main Street, Forest City. No phone calls, please. Now, wouldn't it be nice to get medical attention and not have to leave your home? Now you can, thanks to Remote MD. Remote MD is pleased to announce they have initiated a telemedicine program for residents in North Carolina. The telemedicine program is available to all residents in North Carolina, including Rutherford and Polk counties. It is designed to treat common medical illnesses right from your home. Now, isn't that great? No appointment is necessary, no waiting for days to see someone. This is a wonderful opportunity for people who are struggling financially or have a complicated insurance plan. But your health is important to you and you want attention now. There are no copays or deductible, and unlimited usage programs start at just $59.99 a month. Learn more about this program. Contact Remote MD today at www.remotemd.net. Again, that's www.remotemd.net. 848-905 this morning, we have My Great America with Jim and Butch. Interesting program. I think many of you are telling us that you're enjoying hearing different concepts on what makes America great and some of the things that are happening. And Butch will be on with me via telephone this morning. There are, as I mentioned, I believe yesterday, day before, we are winning a few. We're finding a few governors and senators that are finally getting enough backbone to stand up and go against the left that's wanting to tear down all of our Judeo-Christian values and what's morally right. They want to tear it down. Here's a governor, Oklahoma governor, Republican Governor Kevin Stitt. He signed into law Monday 3 new measures protecting the lives of the unborn from effectively all abortions. Through at least two of the laws are actually likely to be put on hold by the courts before taking effect. But he stepped forward and signed 3 laws virtually banning all abortions. KOKH reports that the first law makes it a homicide to abort any baby with a detectable heartbeat. The second law makes it unprofessional conduct to abort a baby for any reason other than to save a mother's life, regardless of whether a heartbeat can be detected or not. The third law forbids anyone other than board-certified OBGYNs from performing abortions. All three are slated to take effect November the 1st. Direct abortion bans such as these, such as the first two laws, which take effect well before the Supreme Court's fatal viability threshold, are generally not expected to ban abortion in the near term, because they are consistently enjoined by lawsuits from the abortion industry. The abortion industry is fighting like crazy to stop any of those kind of things. That's big money for them. A lot of big money is made by the abortionists because taxpayers are helping pay for it. They're getting money from taxpayers because we're forced to do it. Plus, there are people donating to the cause. Big money's coming in from the folks like George Soros. They continue to perpetuate killing babies, so they're fighting tooth and nail to keep anything like that from passing. And this Roe versus Wade movie that's out right now, that's come out, I think is pretty eye-opening. I've not seen it, I've just seen clips of it, excerpts of it. It seems to be pretty eye-opening, and I think it is a pretty true-to-life expose of what happened when Roe versus Wade took place. Well, Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia responded to calls for a boycott of Home Depot. We talked about here before, the Atlanta-based home improvement company, over the state's newly signed voting reform law. Georgia signed, and everybody's been hearing about the left. Democrats are been criticize them, and the folks with wimpy backbones are boycotting Georgia because Georgia's wanting a fair election with ID and things like that. And these folks say, oh, no, we don't need a fair election. We need to leave things like it is so people can vote as many times as they want to, or the people who are dead or moved away can vote. We don't want a fair election. That's what they're saying. Well, the governor signed that into effect, that it had to be a newly voting law reform had to take place. Part of it had to do with IDs. Well, progressive lobbyists have lobbied, professional progressive activists have lobbied for boycotts in Georgia with no remorse for economic consequences. They don't care if it's going to kill the economy. Based on untrue characterizations of the new law, they didn't read the law. They just reacted from pressure. Faith leaders in Georgia took issue with Home Depot's decision to stay neutral in the political fight over the bill, while other corporations started spreading false narratives about the reform measures. The home improvement company emphasized the importance of and is committed to accessible, fair, and secure elections. This answer was not satisfactory to opponents of the common-sense voting reform provision in the law signed by Kemp. Kemp said once again that he will not bow to pressure from woke corporations, arguing that the facts about the voting law need to be told instead of the false voter suppression narratives pushed by the left. The most recent boycott of Georgia from Major League Baseball is estimated to cost the state $100 million in lost revenue. A boycott of Home Depot would put thousands of jobs at risk, but the left doesn't seem to care about Georgia jobs. They just care about their own agenda. So I applaud Governor Kemp for his backbone and his determination to move forward and declare what they're doing is not right. We need to have a fair election, fair and honest election. So we're going to do it in my state. And some other states are doing the same kind of thing. They're finally stepping up to the plate, and many of them are knocking home runs. And many of them are trying to be, the left's trying to throw them out of home plate, but that's not, so far, many of them are winning out. The NCAA just took the side of trans rights over women's rights, announcing that they unequivocally support transgender athletes, meaning letting biological males who identify as females compete in women's sports. The NCAA, folks, NCAA came down on the side of letting men play women's sports. The NCAA went on to brand states that banned this as practicing discrimination and said they will take that into account when determining where NCAA championships are held. What is happening? So now the NCAA has joined Major League Baseball in declaring that it has the power to determine what laws a state is allowed to pass, or it will take its ball and go somewhere else. we'll take our marbles and go play somewhere else if you're not going to cooperate with us. Since the NCAA has just publicly declared itself to be a left-wing political activist group rather than the neutral organization it should be overseeing fair collegiate athletic competition, then it's time to treat them accordingly under the law and form a new organization to take their place. We don't need the NCAA. Let's form a new organization. By the way, if you want to see how ludicrous their claim to be following evolving science on these issues, click on some of these conservative websites. Mike Huckabee, for instance. These are Mike Huckabee's words. Click on Mike Huckabee and see what's happening. Take a look at the photos of some of the trans athletes next to the girls half their size who are now expected to compete against them. Yeah, see the difference. See what they're saying. It's okay for a 6 foot, 220-pound male with more strength than a 5.5 foot female with less strength to compete. How blind we are, a nation of sheep just following. Folks, I got to get out of here and make room, rest the old voice up, get ready for My Great America with Jim and Butch coming up here in just a few moments. But in the meantime, we'll take you out with a little classic oldie from Clarence Carter. You Don't Have to Say You Love Me. It's right here. Folks, I'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning.
When I said that I knew
from ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. As President Biden lays out his plan for reviving the economy and growing jobs, the government this morning gives us some real numbers on where things stand. Here's Aaron Katursky.
2021 started with an economic bang as the country started to shake off the effects of the pandemic. The Commerce Department said gross domestic product jumped by a 6.4% annual rate in the first quarter, and the Labor Department said there were fewer people applying for the first time last week for unemployment benefits. Weekly jobless claims dropped to a pandemic low 553,000, the lowest level since March of 2020.
Vice President Kamala Harris telling Good Morning America that the president is committed to pulling the country back from the pandemic. And he said last night that jobs will be the key to doing that.
The work that he has been doing and the words of his speech, I think, really rallied the country to remember that we are competitive by nature. We believe in investing in working people. That is how we have grown. That is how we have grown our economy. That is how we've grown our standing around the world. And this is a president who is prepared to continue to invest.
Now, some say the Jobs and Families Plan simply costs too much money, more than $4 trillion in all. Republicans also dismayed at what they say is a lack of bipartisanship. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott gave the rebuttal last night.
Our nation is starving for more than empty platitudes. We need policies and progress that brings us closer together. But 3 months in, the actions of the president and his party are pulling us further and further apart.
The president says his plans would be paid for by taxing the richest Americans as well as big companies. On Fox Business this morning, former President Donald Trump called his former personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, a great patriot. The one-time New York City mayor is under investigation over his business dealings in Ukraine. On Wednesday, his apartment was searched by federal authorities who took electronics and other items. You're listening to ABC News.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Nasal irrigation gets rid of germs by rinsing the nasal cavity, but neti pots are hard to use and, frankly, kind of gross. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now it's time to start cleaning your nose with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
The mayor of Columbus, Ohio, is now calling on the Justice Department to investigate his city's police department. Mayor Andrew Ginther says he wants the review after the most recent incident involving police officers and an African-American person, the deadly shooting of teenager Ma'Khia Bryant. The family of a man who died in police custody in Texas is now demanding charges. ABC's Jim Ryan has the story.
Marvin Scott III was arrested on March 14th on charges of possessing less than 2 ounces of marijuana. Jailers restrained the 26-year-old after they said he began acting strangely. After watching 5 hours of jail surveillance video, Scott's mother, Lysandra, says,
"What we seen today was horrific, inhumane, very disheartening."
The medical examiner has ruled Scott's death a homicide by, quote, fatal acute stress in an individual with previously diagnosed schizophrenia during restraint struggle with law enforcement, unquote. 7 detention officers were fired, but Scott's family wants criminal charges filed against them. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Germany's top court today ordering the government to make better plans to deal with climate change. The court ruling the government needs to set clearer goals to reduce greenhouse gas emissions beyond 2030. And a shock in a Las Vegas backyard during work to put in a pool. The crew digging, finding bones. Experts now say they are ancient, though, probably around 14,000 years old, likely belong to a prehistoric horse. This is ABC News.
O'Reilly.
Ready for an oil change? Our professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts recommend all the best products to get the job done right. Like 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil on sale now just $28.95. And we'll make sure you have all the supplies you need, including a filter, funnel, shop towels, drain pan, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Today we're being kind to Grady Franklin. Grady Franklin turns 100 today. 100 years old today. He was born in the Duncans Creek community and currently resides in the Cliffside community. The Rutherford County Commissioners declared April 29th. That's Grady Franklin Day here in Rutherford County. And we have the honor and privilege of recognizing Grady Franklin here throughout today here on WCAB. Grady Franklin Day right here. 100 years old. Congratulations, Grady Franklin.
This is Gilbert. If you owe the IRS past due taxes, don't call those toll-free national numbers. Local, affordable help is right here in Rutherford County. Stop garnishments, levies, and liens. Call Gilbert Carmona at 828-289-9300. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert, 828-289-9300.
Hello and happy Thursday. Expect a warmer afternoon today with temperatures in the upper 80s around the area. Some areas may also even get to 90 this afternoon. It'll be quite humid as well, but we stay dry with a partly cloudy sky. A few showers, though, arrive overnight tonight and early Friday morning as we see temperatures starting in the 60s. The showers will move out, though, by Friday early in the morning, and we'll see more sunshine and lesser humid conditions Friday afternoon. Highs in the upper 70s and near 80. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's 69 degrees right now. Sunny skies. It's going to be a great day to get out and do something. Get out on a trail maybe, walk a little bit, and then go get you a cone of ice cream somewhere. That'd make your day even really nice. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. This is WCAB Rutherfordton.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to My Great America with Jim and Butch. This is Jim here in the Blue Room, and my compadre is out of the Great America visiting another great state, which is part of American history. He's over in Texas. Butch, good morning.
Jim, it's great to listen to you. By the way, from afar. I'm down here in Dallas. Of course, I'm a native Texan. A lot of people may not know that. I was born in Lubbock. My father was a flight instructor at the time at Reese Air Force Base, and of course, you have some history back there in the Air Force as well. But I was listening to you talk about our friend who's 100, but also the beautiful weather. We had a tornado warning here until 2 a.m. in the morning.
No.
Yes. And so I was recalling the days here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where weather was sometimes extreme. It's part of Tornado Alley. That's what they call it. But, God protected us. Everything was fine, but there were high winds, hail, rain, and dear friend that I'm going to see later today, Larry Ross, by the way, he's going to call in sometime. He, for 32 years, was the spokesperson for Billy Graham. He's got a public relations firm down here in Dallas, and have some meetings later in the day. Dear friend Samuel Perez is launching, along with his business partner, what's going to be the largest liquidation store, we believe, in the country at an old Nordstrom's in Hurst, Texas. So I'm down here trying to help him, but I miss that chair. I miss looking across the table at you, Jim, and remembering that every single Tuesday and Thursday from 9:05 to 9:30, right after the news, which is appropriate, we try to bring light and life through My Great America with Jim and Butch and focus on positive things that are happening in the community, and also just a lot of the things that we know are so anchored in our history that are being forgotten. It's been a lot of froth in the news after Biden's presentation, hasn't there been? I didn't listen to you this morning, but I'm sure you got pretty lathered up.
Well, other issues, I did mention to him very briefly about some of the things that his emphasis seems to be on rather than helping America pull themselves up. But I wanted to say we miss you when you're not here, but I'm glad to know you're out helping people. And that's what you're all about. You've been a great instrument in helping a lot of people over different circumstances in their life, in addition to help them move forward with their success. So I'm glad you're out there doing some good things.
Well, thanks, Jim. You already know how much I value and love our partnership that we have together. So, there are a couple of things that we're going to talk about today. What's interesting is some people have asked me, well, do you and Jim get together and study? And research what you're going to talk about. Some have had some image, Jim, that we do like study for this. Well, I try to get a hold of what God's trying to say through us, and then over the time now, we're closing in on 70 programs that we've done. It's just a matter of getting a hold of what does God want us to say, and then letting you retrieve from your considerable and mature history as my older brother. So anyway, I wanted to let you know, by the way, just real quickly, if I heard correctly from Bryson Smith, who's the new chair of the Republican Party locally, we may be tracking to be at more than double the best onion sales that we've ever done, Jim. I don't know if have you heard anything on that?
I have not. That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that news. I have not heard a report from that.
Well, and I hope it's true. I believe it is, but I think people, and I hope some, after our little onion infomercial that we did on Tuesday, I hope people, went down to the Republican headquarters, which, by the way, is going to be a real community asset. I know one of the things that Bryson and the other leadership really wants to do is to make sure that that's seen, that Republican headquarters, as a place of light and light for the community. It's going to be a platform for discussion, interaction, socializing, but a prayer, it'll be all those things that make communities great. And by the way, I wanted to give you also a quick little update. I spoke to Clark Poole yesterday. The Chamber of Commerce was broken into.
Broken into?
Yes.
I did not know that. I haven't seen Clark in a couple of days.
Okay, well, yeah. So I was talking to him about some other matters, and apparently somebody broke in there, but they did apprehend the person, and I don't want to make comments on what may be a case there, but it was I couldn't help but laugh at how they found the person. Thievery will never ever, dishonesty will never ever pay. It can seem like it will in the short term, but it's like it says in Scripture: "Be sure your sins will find you out." And as our pastors often say at our church, God has a way. Whom the Lord loves, He disciplines, and God has a way of shining light on those things that are not appropriate in our lives. But anyway, so when you see Clark, you may want to inquire about that. I don't think much was stolen, but there were some broken windows and other things. I don't know that I've ever heard of a Chamber of Commerce being broken into.
Did they apprehend the culprit?
My understanding is they did, Jim. My understanding is they did, through a set of the thieves, the perpetrators' follies. Sometimes people are so interested in doing the wrong thing they forget they're leaving a trail, just like bread. And in this case, they were able to apprehend him, which is great.
I can't imagine anybody breaking into a Chamber of Commerce and expecting to find anything other than a bunch of papers.
Right? Yeah. The files from the 60s and 70s on plans someday for a thermal rail trail. You never know. But you know what's sad? There's a sad part to all of this. Particularly during the opiate crisis, where we have had a different sort of pharmaceutical pandemic in our country that has killed so many people and it destroyed so many lives. Addiction does that. In the midst of that, people when they're high, Jim, they'll do things and say things that obviously they often regret later. And that's why we keep circling back to that principle that I've mentioned so many times before. There's no right way to do the wrong thing. And this morning, I want to make sure that we remember, too, I've got a little scripture to read. Remember, too, that God has promised, whether it's politics or business or personal relationships or community matters, Jim, you know this well. You know this well. God has promised that when we inquire of Him, He will give us answers. He tells us to diligently seek Him. And I was reminded of the stories of David, King David, a man after God's own heart. And I was reading this morning in 1 Samuel 23. And, David, the life of David is so interesting because it references David as a man after God's own heart, but he was also an unbelievable leader. Well, what was the key to his leadership? What would be the key to the leadership of any political figure, business figure, somebody leading a home, a path? What is the key? The key is inquiring of God. And that's one of the things that we need to pray for, is that our leaders will recognize that their efforts, their own efforts, are going to come to naught. It's really what God says. So there's a story in 1 Samuel 23, this is what it says. Then they told David, saying, Behold, this was his men, the Philistines are fighting against Keilah and are plundering, robbing the threshing floors of the grain. So, this is very important, verse 2, David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go and attack these Philistines? And the Lord said to David, Go and attack the Philistines and save Keilah. Now look what happens in verse 3. But David's men said to him, Listen, we're afraid here in Judah. How much more then if we go to Keilah against the battle lines of the Philistines? Then David inquired of the Lord again, and the Lord answered him, Arise, go down to Keilah, for I will hand over the Philistines to you. So David and his men went to Keilah and fought the Philistines. He drove away their cattle and struck them with a great slaughter. So David rescued the inhabitants of Keilah. It's a simple story. It's a simple story of threats, potential disaster, inquiring of God, what should we do? God clearly saying, go. Doubt. That often emerges with leaders. Doubt. People around them saying, no, we can't. But in this case, David listened not to the doubting crowds. He listened to God. And what was the result? The result was what God promised. You will win that battle. And in like manner, Jim, let me just take us over to the New Testament for a minute. All of this applies to our lives individually, but also the lives of leaders. And we'll get into that in just a minute. John, you hear me talk about this often, John 5:30. This is Jesus. I can do nothing on my own initiative or authority. Just as I hear, I judge, and my judgment, hear from whom? God. My judgment is just, fair, righteous, unbiased, because I do not seek my own will, but only the will of him who sent me. Jim, we need leaders in Congress. We need leaders in the White House. We need leaders in municipalities all across America who remember the central seminal principle. Inquire of God with an open heart to do his will, not your own agenda, and he has promised he will answer. That's what was on my heart this morning.
And those words are very plain and specific and easy to understand. And I'm interested in knowing, and I talked about this earlier this morning, there are finally some folks in leadership, some of the governor's races, where they're standing up now and with the backbone and that same courageous leadership and saying, we're not going along with the progressive side of what they want to do with killing babies.
Right.
We're standing up. We're going to do it this right way. So I'm glad to see that. I'm encouraged that there are now a few leaders out there in the governor's races and some of the Senate and the governor's houses and some of the Senate races that are saying, hey, it's time to do it right. It's time to do the right kind of leadership. And I'm happy about that.
Me too, Jim. And you know what? We need to remember this is not an exception to American history. Whatever is being done currently to try to rip away the heritage of America from textbooks, to steal the sacred stories of our nation, we need to be the ones to keep going back and saying, no, we're not going to let the weeds of doubt and reframing of history happen in this beautiful botanical garden we call the United States of America, this incredible adventure inspired by God. And so I keep going back over and over, Jim, to what were the founding fathers saying and what have other presidents said when they have faced incredible challenges, life-shaking challenges for our nation and the world. What have they done? What happens when they sit in the Oval Office behind what's called the resolute desk? Well, let me just share a few things. You know, George Washington, it's so interesting. He was the first president of the United States, and he was clearly a devout Christian. You know, as I've done my research, Jim, he often referenced divine authority. He also was reported to regularly pray privately. And what's interesting is some of the old journals from Washington's nephew reported that Washington did devotions every single day with his Bible in the morning and the evening. That was the initial president, the first president of our country. You know, John Adams, I've done a fair amount of research on his life. He maintained in all of his writings that America was founded on Christian principles. And he requested that a blessing be said over the White House, a blessing over the White House. He once said in a letter to Thomas Jefferson, the general principles on which the fathers achieved independence were the general principles of Christianity. And he said, I'm going to avow that I then believed and now believe that those general principles of Christianity are eternal and immutable as the existence and attributes of God. That's not somebody behind a pulpit. That was a president of the United States. James Madison, he was a declared Episcopalian. He signed a federal bill funding Bible distribution. Can you believe it? And he wrote, Jim, in a letter in 1773 that he sometimes thought there could not be a stronger testimony in favor of religion or against temporal enjoyments than for men who occupy the most honorable and gainful departments and a rising reputation and wealth publicly to declare their unsatisfactoriness by becoming fervent advocates in the cause of Christ. That's a president, Abraham Lincoln. One of the things that I've been studying his life recently, and one of the things, Jim, that I found is that it appears Lincoln came to his Christian faith later in life. He was once quoted as saying, when I left Springfield, I wasn't a Christian. When I buried my son, I was not a Christian. But when I went to Gettysburg and saw the graves of thousands of our soldiers, I then and there consecrated myself to Christ. Yes, I do love Jesus. That's Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States. Ronald Reagan, he was known for how seriously he took his faith. He said once, if we ever forget we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under. George W. Bush, he didn't hesitate to reference God in public discourse. During a speech about the Iraq War, he said, as we continue to fight against terror, we ask the Almighty to protect all those who battle for freedom and throughout the world, and our brave men and women in uniform. We ask God to shield innocents from harm. We recognize the sacrifice of our military and families. We will not forget the men and women who have fallen in battle. We pray that their loved ones will receive God's comforting grace. These are all our presidents, Jim.
Even George W. Bush, even when he was campaigning for president, he even said on stage during a debate, Jesus changed my life. That's what he means to me. He absolutely changed my life. So that's pretty courageous.
It is, and we need to recognize, Jim, that people that are gorging right now on social media, I'm talking about people that may be listening or watching, people who are gorging on the negativity of social media, people that are finding themselves ripped from the anchor of fortified faith. They're becoming tossed about by every wind and doctrine. There is only one antidote to that, and that is to keep your eyes on Jesus. It's the thing, Jim, that has become so revolutionizing in my life is I'm in a community of faith where we are instructed and directed and encouraged and exhorted and admonished in whatever the circumstance may be, just like Peter. You know, when Jesus said, come, and he started to walk on the water, when did Peter start to go underneath those angry waves? It was at the moment he took his eyes off Jesus. And Jim, in the midst of all of it, I really feel like that's the greatest service that we bring or try to bring or have a heart to bring through My Great America is to help people remember this nation was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. Our county and our country can be a fruitful place with a beautiful fragrance of God's presence, but it's got to start with us, doesn't it?
I was encouraged back months ago when we saw pictures of Donald Trump sitting in the Oval Office and hundreds of evangelicals around him praying over him with their hands on him, and he was accepting that as a belief in the fact that he believes in a higher power than himself. And that happened many times where they gathered together and prayed over him, and that says something about the kind of heart that's in a man.
Well, and you know what? We are all works in progress. If we yield our hearts to Jesus, He will show us the areas that need to change, Jim. And we're so quick to be critical. We're so quick to throw down the thunderbolts of judgment. You know, I've been finding it a very important exercise in recent days to keep going to Jesus, saying, you know what? Where do I need to change in my life? And you know what? We need to also remember that God is not running from us. It says clearly in Scripture that He'll hear the cries of a repentant people. And, you know, we need to keep remembering in the midst of all of the things we face as a nation, you know, if my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray, that's not talking about that's talking about God's people. It's talking about the 238 churches in Rutherford County, if we humble ourselves and pray, then God will heal our land, Jim. So it starts with us, doesn't it?
Absolutely does. And some folks around our neighborhood understand that and believe that. That's why they gather together periodically and have these day of prayer meetings at the courthouse, because they're assembling themselves together as true believers and recognize that God is still there. We just need to call upon him and repent, and he'll forgive us of our sins and then bless us only when we repent.
That's so good. And you know what? In our own little spheres of influence, a lot of times we forget we can be our own. When I was young, we used to sing "This Little Light of Mine." You remember that song?
Oh yes.
Yeah, we taught that, I think, to our children when they were young. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Well, that's a song, but there's scripture that tells us don't hide your light under a bushel. And Jim, for anybody that listens or watches and they feel fearful, they feel tentative, they feel intimidated, we need to remember that Scripture is filled. It's a record of incredible examples of improbable people, unlikely people, people not noted, people not noteworthy, who had one thing unbelievably going for them. They believed in God, they trusted him, and they would yield to his will. And so whatever the situation is for anybody today, it's not a time to be discouraged. It's not a time to be depressed. It's not a time to get on the sidelines. It's not a time to throw in the towel and say, you know what, it's too deep, it's too dark, it's too overwhelming, and America's too gone. That's simply not true. And as long as there's a My Great America with Jim and Butch, and as long as there are churches like Florence Baptist Church or Word of Faith Fellowship, or the several hundred churches in our community, we purpose to send out the flares of truth that God is faithful when we trust him. But if we don't trust him and we're preoccupied with doing it our own way and we're left to our own devices, Jim, we're going to stagger as a nation, as a people, and as a community from one side of the road to the other like a drunken sailor.
Your reference to the song "This Little Light of Mine" reminded me of a song that we sang back in youth days. As a youth director, it only takes a spark to get the flame going. It takes one individual to let that light shine and to ignite someone else, to ignite someone else, to ignite someone else. It only takes a spark to get that flame going.
Jim, as you were just saying that, I found myself in my heart transported back to the Triple R Ranch in Chesapeake, Virginia, where I was a counselor, and we used to sing that song. And we would sing it often, almost every Saturday night. The campers would leave on Sunday morning. They used to call me Uncle Butch, by the way. And
I'll remember that.
I've been please don't. But I remember we would sing that song, and then the campers would throw a stick in the fire. And Jim, in the midst of what is clearly darkness, we have people that are attempting to uproot the foundations. And we sing a song in our church that's so powerful. It's one of the songs of the Lord. And there is a line in the song, when the foundations are being destroyed, it comes from Scripture. What will the righteous do? When the foundations in America are being destroyed, what will the righteous do? They run to the God of their salvation. And that's what we need to do, Jim. And it's not a false kind of religion. It's clearly and with an open heart saying, Jesus, I don't, and whatever you say, I'll do. And as a nation, Jim, as we do that, starting with each of our own hearts, it will change our homes, it will change our communities, it will change our churches, it will change North Carolina, and it will continue to reinforce what's made America so great.
What a great biblical guide is our Bible each day to get that kind of guidance and wisdom and leadership. If we just follow it, we got that path.
Well, let's you and I purpose again today, Jim, that we're going to lead in that effort, and we're going to keep reinforcing America is made great only because the God of the universe is great, and he's promised that he'll respond to the cry of every heart. So let's cry out to him today. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday.
You be safe in your travels, and I look forward to seeing you back here in the Blue Room.
Have a blessed weekend, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.